Good morning everyone. I'm here today to show you my basic therapy kit bag and all the items that goes inside of it. So every item in here is very beneficial and helpful during the therapy session. I personally have top 10 must-have to have in my basic therapy bag, and but all of these items are very beneficial and helpful in the therapy session, just to make that clear. Okay, so first off, it's very important to have a timer and a recorder on your therapy kit. And for me, I always have my phone. So I think that first, voice recorder are very beneficial because it helps the SLP or the SLPA be accurate in their data that they're taking. So let's say that the SLP or the SLPA didn't catch the word that the client said, or didn't catch the target that they wanted to hear from the client. So the recorder helps them to keep they can recall it and they can listen to it again and see how did the client did. So I think it's very great tool to have in your basic therapy kit. And also the timer is very beneficial as well, because one thing I learned observing every therapy session is that they always value their time. Every minute with the client is valuable, so it helps them keep track and be on the right time with their clients, so every objective and goal that they have for that day will be met. And next item is, after the timer and voice recorder, I have here is Mr. Potato Head. So Mr. Potato Head, last year when I did my observation both with school-based practice and private practice, they always have Mr. Potato Head, whether it's just for the entertainment of the client while they're doing their goal, or they're actually targeting the client's goal. Like, for example, I have this client, he have a goal to follow 1 to 2 step direction. So I think Mr. Potato Head is a very great tool for that, since you can basically take off all the parts and just ask the client, can you put the ear back? Can you put the arm back? Or can you take it off? So I think this is a very great educational tool to use for that goal. Okay, next up, the fourth item that I think is valuable would be clipboard. One thing I learned is that every client or kid can be distracted easily, and I think that clipboard avoids that distraction that you might draw towards your client. So when you're taking data, you don't want your client to have divided attention of the task that you've given him while you're taking data. So I think that having clipboard helps the client stay focused on their task while keeping away their attention from what you're doing. So I think this is a great addition or an item to go with your basic therapy kit. And next up, the fifth item is storybooks. So for this storybook, I have the first one is a farm animal storybook. So I think this is very cool when I saw it, because you can see beside here is that it has every animal that's inside of this storybook, and when you press it, it says the name of the animal and the sounds it makes.
Goat.
So I think that's a very great tool for kids because they can associate the sound to the object or the animal that's making that sound. So I think this is a very great storybook. And for this one, there's a hole in the log. This one is a very good book to read as well because one thing I learned about the skilled intervention is there's a skilled list. Skilled intervention said that auditory bombardment. So I think this is a very great book for that because it keeps repeating the word. So it's like log, log, log. There's a log, there's a log. So I think this is a very great way or great storybook for that. Next up, the sixth item will be blocks. So blocks, during the first week of this semester, I've watched a video about a therapy session where a kid play with blocks. So I learned that kids are very creative and you should let them be creative as much as possible. So for blocks, you allow the kids to engage in a symbolic play. So I think that's a very great tool to have in your basic therapy kit. Because one thing I learned is that kids are very creative and their work of art is play. So if your kid is playing with dolls, they can build a house made of blocks and then call it a house. Or if they're playing with animals, they can call it a farm instead. So I think this is a very great way, a great tool or educational tool to have in your basic therapy kit. Seventh item I have here is a tongue depressor. So I've only observed one SLP that used tongue depressor with her client, and I think it's very interesting and a great tool for sure to have in your therapy kit because the tongue depressor helps SLP can use it to place the client's tongue in the right position if they're having problems saying a certain phoneme. It could be a S, it could be a K. So it helps to position their tongue while they're saying their target phoneme. Tongue depressor. And the eighth item, I think this is very important, is first aid kit because you'll never know what will happen during a therapy session. So I think this is a very good must-have on your therapy kit as a first aid. Ninth item would be stickers. Stickers or just like a stamp, which is considered as a reward or a positive reinforcement as well. So I think it's a very great tool to have in your basic therapy kit, and I think it's a must-have because you want to reward your kid for trying their best during the therapy session, or just rewarding them if they did the behavior that you want them to do. So I think giving them something, even if it's small as a sticker, would mean a lot for them. All right, and lastly, for the 10th item, I have a mirror. So for the mirror, I observed one of this SLP. she let the client use the mirror to look at herself while saying her target phoneme, which is at that time is S. So while she's saying S, she places the index finger in front of her mouth and keeps saying S, S, S. So in this way, this technique allows the client to see her, the form of her mouth or even the form of her tongue while she's saying the certain phoneme. So I think mirror is a great addition or a must-have on your therapy kit for sure. Alright, those are my 10 must-haves for this therapy kit. But for the rest of these items, this is all beneficial and helpful during therapy session. So for the rest of the items, what I have here is a board, a marker board. I also have a coloring book. I have a coloring book right here. And I have a bunch of construction papers. Also have pens and markers in different colors. And I also have glue sticks. And I also have a puzzle. This is just a simple puzzle. And I have Uno card. I've seen this a lot in therapy session, so I think this is a great tool as well. Crayons, of course. Hand sanitizer. Also have pencils. I also have a whistle. I have a whistle. And a sticky notes. And I have a board game right here, and Candyland. And I have a Barbie doll with dress and accessories to go with it. And I also have two kinds of ball. This one's the hard one, this one's the soft one. And I also have a mixture of small and big spoon. And cups. I also have bubbles. You see bubbles a lot in therapy, so I have it right here as well, and two different colors. And I have different colors as well. Trucks, like those. And I have a toy telephone. And I threw in just the random toys. So this toys has faces on it. These are balls. Which is, I think, was very cute and entertaining for kids. And lastly, I have here a set of small farm animals. I have it right here. you just have to set it up. So I have their little fence with trees, have the animals all in here. And that is the last item I have for my basic therapy kit.